temperature this morning of 16, I think it was, with the wind.
This is just constantly rotating jackets on my coat.
I thought I was done with this one, which is naive on my part, but, or
I knew I
maybe
wasn't
just
done with it,
optimistic.
but I had rotated it to the back. Nope, front and center.
We are officially live whenever you are ready. Andy, please officially 4:30.
Everybody ready to go? All right, I call the meeting to order. 4:30. Roll call.
Chair O'Rourke,
Present.
Mr. Brandon,
Here, present.
Dr. Bowling.
Here, present.
Pick one. Don't be wasted.
Double
Oh,
present.
here and present, yes. Physically and standing.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I meant. Okay, so we are up to old business approval of documents. Everybody have a chance to review what Patrick sent us?
Yes.
You have some comments for us, Patrick?
Yeah, so this was the original tally sheet that we were looking at the last meeting.
Okay.
And then you had sent a proposed new sheet. I did make two very minor adjustments. I thinned out the columns.
Yeah.
The packet, unfortunately, doesn't do it justice. This makes it all fit on one page. So that when it's printed, we don't have double-sided or anything like that.
Yeah, I
And I centered the numbers, was the only other thing I did.
figured there was a way to do that, and I knew it,
Oh, no, you're good. I'm happy to do it.
but I figured we can fix that at some point.
The one thing I would suggest about this, and I don't know how you all would like to do it, whether it's at the bottom, or my thought was because the ballots are kind of small and some of the other papers we use are like half sheets or quarter sheets, things like that, would be on the back of this page in the center so that when you fold it into thirds, it's the primary section would be the total numbers from the other side for each of the candidates,
Right?
and then signatures for whoever checked it and double checked it.
Fine.
That way,
I like
that would
that.
be
That
rubber
makes sense.
banded to the stacks and, okay. So I can add that to it.
Yeah, I assumed that somewhere we would have the actual count. This, from my perspective, is just, we sit there with a pen, and you cross off each block.
Yeah.
So that at the end, is that a hash mark? Is that a 5 or a 4 is not an issue. So we just go down and we see. Depending on how many candidates we have, it doesn't have to fit all on one sheet. Ideally, 1 to 50 on one sheet would be great, but if we have to split it up,
And some candidates on one and some on the other, yeah.
like if we have, well, I would recommend whatever the order is on the ballot, that's the same ordering that we put it on our little reference sheets. But if we have one candidate for Parks, Rec, Safety, and Public Works, and then 2 for the others, Mayor Finance goes on one, and the others on the other, so it doesn't really matter. We'll work it out to make it look pretty and functional when we see what we have. I just thought it would be a more convenient way than going through ballot and then going back and going back and going back. Or, as you mentioned, trusting to count the little hash marks.
Right.
I always sometimes do the 5, then you try to put the line to the other one.
That's what I
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
And then I have to think, is that really a 4? Or is that a mistake? Yes.
And so just as we are tallying, we're just checking
Yep.
the box, right?
Mhm.
That's what,
So when you get to the end of your stack, you'll see up to 22 has been cast for candidate 1, 19 for candidate 2, et cetera, et cetera.
The one question I did have about using this form, and it may make it so there needs to be more, and just so everybody knows right now, we do have someone running for each position, and one position where 2 people are running. So Commissioner of Finance has 2 candidates, so as of right now, it won't be overly crowded.
Yeah.
But the one question I wasn't sure of, there are ballots that will come in that won't have a vote for someone.
Mhm.
do we want a column that says no vote for each candidate, so that you can also then add it up so that there's, that 22,
So you're
22 and
confirming
1,
that you've seen
50 ballots for each of the candidates. I wasn't sure, or we could put something at the top for tally marks for no votes, because it shouldn't be a whole lot of them.
Right.
Interesting.
Or you can put it right at the bottom.
Yeah, somewhere in each column.
Yeah.
What would be the purpose of the no votes per candidate?
At the end, if you added up the votes for each candidate and the no votes, it should equal the 50. Whereas if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be sure there was a no vote and you didn't skip one.
Okay. That's legitimate.
Do we just put, do we put the no vote next to the others to maybe be able to continue to keep track as well? Versus if we do it at the bottom?
I could make it an extra column, and so candidate 1, 2, no vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so if
Or
we do it
we
at the
could-
bottom,
Yeah,
we're gonna be back
We're
to
gonna
the
lose
hash
it.
mark
They're
thing.
like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I like that
Okay.
suggestion.
And then,
Candidate one, candidate 2, and candidate no vote.
Yeah,
That works.
that's,
Hopefully candidate no vote doesn't win any, but
yeah.
one never can tell. Okay.
And so I will get that changed, and then we can finally approve that in the next meeting.
Okay.
And so the next thing, the canvassing process, I don't have it necessarily documents here other than what's in the operating procedure, but I know we had a lot of discussion about that last time. I didn't know if we wanted to go back through that.
Anybody have any concerns from our last time? I personally had addressed all the concerns that I had, so.
Let's do that.
I thought we were pretty thorough.
I did find out one more thing in talking to Elizabeth about how they did it last year and that we'll do this year is when we do the mailing out, the voter oath envelopes will have a city identified number on it. So it won't be, there are voter identified notes for the state. We won't use like anybody's official documents, but we'll do a 1 through 4,200 and something alphabetically based on the final list that we send out. And that will be the list that we use to compare things to. So when we're alphabetizing, assuming they didn't come get a replacement ballot, they'll all have a number on the bottom to help us get in order a lot quicker. Apparently that worked out really well last year. It also makes sure that it's the original envelope that was sent to them, so we know if somebody requested a ballot, that we'll have a list of anybody that requested one. The requested ballots will have a blank number on the oath, and we'll just verify that they didn't get double, like somebody didn't also send something.
Okay, that works.
And then ballot mailing, one thing I talked to you all about last time was that we're having trouble getting in touch with the company that we had used last year. They did get bought out by a .com, bigger chain. I did reach out to them because they did it before. I was hoping they'd be able to do it again. Never heard back from them. Inside the standard operating procedures, it actually lists the company we're using.
Right.
So I've actually highlighted that in there in a couple of spots. It's mentioned.
So this is a new company.
So I reached out to MPB Print and Sign Superstore, which is a Morgantown printing company. They told them everything we needed to do. They actually finally got a quote back to me today, so they're happy to do it. It's under the cost we expected it to be. So if there's no objections to it, we'll move forward with them, and I'll place their name inside the standard operating procedures.
So you're saying, is the outfit still located in Hagerstown, or do you even know that?
The building is there, and the new name is on it, like when you look on MapQuest, but I put in one of those, requests for information, and then I even called the company and nobody answered. So, and didn't get a response from the, at that point.
Not a good sign.
I don't feel like they're very trustworthy.
No.
When I talked to the Morgantown Print Shop about it, and explained what we needed to do and multiple envelopes and all that kind of stuff. So they're like, oh yeah, no problem, we can do that, we can get it mailed out in the whole 9 yards. So they'll put the stamp on it for us and, yeah. So,
Okay.
and they'll be the ones that would provide us with a proof of everything, hopefully in the near future. I'm hoping by their next meeting. Now that you're approved, I'll follow up with a quote on them and see what they can send back.
Objections? Without objection, the board approves. All right, what else you got for us?
Going through the operating procedures to see if they're ready to be passed with some minor amendments. One of the questions that you all had was about voting for ballots that are going to be invalidated because they weren't in a voting envelope and things like that. Even though it says in our code that it not being in a voter oath envelope automatically makes it not valid, it still does need to be voted on, and all votes need to be unanimous. So in the packet in front of you is section 3.3, I think, is elections.
Yep.
If you look on the bottom of the second page or the back of the first page, it talks about that all ballots must have a unanimous vote to be tossed.
Okay.
May not be rejected except by unanimous vote of the board. So even the ones that clearly are not valid based off of the code, you would have to still sign off on them, just as a double check.
Okay. So now invalidated ballots. When in the process does that occur? Does that occur while we're counting them?
But it depends, from my understanding and looking through the process, it would depend on when or what is wrong with them. So
Okay.
for those that are not in the oath envelope, those will get put aside still inside the oath envelope to ensure that, one, we've counted that the ballots had come in before they get rejected or anything like that, but we make sure that the ballot itself stays inside the envelope because we don't want it to get mixed in with the actual votes once they're pulled out. So you all would then, once we go through all of them and find all the ones that don't have signed envelopes or aren't in envelopes and things like that would be put aside, you all would vote on what to do
So
with
that
them.
would be Wednesday after election.
For the initial, yes.
Okay.
But then we don't do the same kind of procedure 10 days later when we do the mail.
Okay. And then, if there's anything wrong with the ballot in the envelope, that decision is made while we're counting them?
As we come across them, my understanding is yes, we would pause, the group would come together. So for example, somebody voted for 2 people in the same race, somebody wrote their name on it,
Right.
those types of things, if it's a fake ballot,
Okay.
which I can't imagine happening.
All right, good. All right, other questions about the operating procedure? Standard operating procedures.
One other item we had talked about was what entails the initial canvassing, because after that is when we would put the initial results up. Actually, looking at the more detailed aspects of this, that initial canvassing is everything that is in by 7 p.m. on election day. So it may not be after the first day of canvassing, but the first grouping. So anything that comes in on June 3rd in the mail would be separate and won't be counted until the 10th with all the other after election day mail and stuff. But so after the initial canvassing would be everything that's turned in by 7 p.m. on election day.
Okay, fair enough.
And I clarified the language in that section of the operating.
Okay. Other comments? items for our consideration or questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve standard operating procedures as presented to us with the note that the company indicated has been replaced by one that's actually in business.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous approval. Kinda hard not to get that when you have two, a second and a motion. Yeah, okay. Let's take a vote on that. Okay. Canvassing process, ballot mailing.
The only other thing I wasn't sure if you wanted to look through were the appendices, so the different forms. We did officially name them, canvassing forms 1 through 7. And I will add the tally sheet is canvassing form number 8,
Okay.
and add that to that as well, if there's no objections to that.
Yeah, and we talked about this, Patrick, that one point in there, if we have to do the box over, both 1 and 2 need to be identified there.
Yes.
Take the tag off, put the new one. Okay, so
And we'll staple them together.
make that as an editorial
Yep.
change, and that'll be fine. Yeah, I have no questions about the rest of the documents.
Nor did I.
No questions here?
Okay. Seeing none, we shall move on. Filed candidates list. Okay, someone has inquired about this. Is it someone other than, I have one inquiry myself.
I had one as well, but I don't know if they're the same individual. So,
Was it a city official?
yes.
Yes, it was the same
Okay.
person.
For some reason, I did dawn on me that that might be the case. So, we originally had Ms. Mears ask why we weren't posting it, and she told me that the city of Cumberland posted on Facebook as well as their city page. We had that initial vote. Since then, one of the city officials, that's also obviously a candidate right now, also asked Mr. Rourke and or Dr. Rourke and myself during a work session meeting. One of the reasons, and I looked into this a little bit after last time, so the city of Cumberland has primaries. So not only do they post on their website, it actually goes on to the state Board of Elections site. They're one of the few cities in Maryland that follows the same election. I think the state elections or the county board of elections actually runs their election. Unlike us, most municipalities are like us where we run our own. So we would make sense to be on that list anyway because it's a primary. We don't have a primary, we go right into the election. But the question was, would it be possible to put it on our website, not necessarily Facebook, and post it regularly as Cumberland may do, but just so that people know who has put in for candidacies to know if they want to, I guess, run as well. And that
I
type
guess
of
with
thing.
some kind of disclaimer,
And
you know.
We talked about this last time, and my concern was, well, the concern that I articulated was that people will look at it and misunderstand it. For example, and consider it a preliminary ballot.
Yeah.
Other issues I have with it are just sort of what purpose does it serve is always the question I ask when we add something to any process. General information, is it to solicit more participation at the level of candidacy? Will we attract voters, candidates who just run against people? Just personally, I'm not a big fan of that motivation for candidacy. I don't like so-and-so, so I'm going to run.
Right.
yeah.
But those are all my personal biases.
You can have those.
perspective of, you know, just providing information, I can understand it, but.
Well, and when I talked to, at the work session and explained that concern, one of the responses, we should put a disclaimer on it that says these individuals have filed and have not been approved for candidacy. So they were very much in agreement with that. I think the question was more of, I think people are interested to know if there are people filing, because I think there are some people that would file but don't want to necessarily run against somebody that's potentially running again, like an incumbent or something like that. So they don't know. You know, for all everybody knows, nobody has put in or filed to, you know, be the Public Works Commissioner. And is that going to be left blind because they would be happily served, but maybe not do it if, you know, the individuals run. I think that's the concern. I'm sure there are some people that may look at it like you're talking about, be like, oh, if that's the only person that's running for that, I'm going to run too. You know, and everybody has their own motivation.
It's true. Just popping up 3 different motivational scenarios in my head that I would find objectionable as well, but it doesn't pay to try to break into somebody else's head and figure out what they're going to do with the information. Do we want to put it forward or not? That's just the basic question.
And I can say, if we want to do this, I can put it on the election page. That doesn't mean that it needs to be also put on Facebook or, you know, put in the banner. It can be there for those looking for it. So it's not something that we're not going to put it on Cumberland Patrol or anything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now we're talking Cumberland Patrol. I am 100% behind. Let's put a picture of a police car there too.
But so I mean, we can do that as part of it. Is it's just an informational thing. It's not something that, you know, is meant to be marketed. If that's helpful. Or it can be something that I post every Friday if you want me to. So.
Yeah, what's the update schedule going to be? As soon as somebody files, if they don't, I mean, that presents issues in itself of fairness.
In what way, John?
Well, if you wait, and again, we're going inside people's, if only I had known this last week, I would have taken some sort of action. Why do you put it up on Fridays? I go away for the weekend. Tuesdays is not a good day for me. I mean, all sorts of scenarios.
Well, like I said, I don't need to post it at all, but yeah.
But on the other hand,
This will be the first time that it's
yes.
been.
As far as I know, and that's part of the other thing. I'm not sure if in the past there's been ways that people have, or that the city has let people know. It is public information. If anybody puts in an information request, I'd have to send it to them anyways.
I'm not a big fan of, you know, that sort of gatekeeping on information on it. So now I'm on the other side.
Yeah,
You gotta go out of your way to ask for it. Why?
yeah, and I think that's part of some of the concerns of individuals as well.
I mean, it could, not doing it, especially after a request to do so, could be interpreted as a lack of transparency. And I would be concerned about that. And again, it's crawling into someone else's head in terms of how they would interpret it and so forth. But I think that could be a real perception.
So, yeah, my response to that, and I already made last meeting, was that I recommended that we take it up again if there seems to be a desire, and I believe my comment was, but a single person asking does not represent that sort of public outcry
No.
for it.
No,
I suspect the city official asked because somebody asked that person. So it's still,
That I'm not sure of. Yeah. Well, at least I'm not sure if it's the same person that asked, rather. Maybe somebody else that asked.
so we could have actually 2 people.
Or potentially 3.
Or 3, maybe 3, yeah. All right, if we go with it, what would be our frequency of update? And I know it's not going to be an overwhelming number of people filing.
No.
It's just something else to keep track of. that has to be done in a timely fashion, or else it's just something else to get criticized about.
Well, rather than specifying a day of the week, why don't we identify within X number of days of
Fine.
the filing, it be updated?
And I would phrase it as, just knowing how and when things have come in. Phrase it somewhere along the lines of as soon as possible, or no later than three working days or 3 business days. Or
My
something
only
like that.
problem with that is, how do you put that on a website, an informational page?
I think you just identify as of such and such a date, here are the candidates who have
Fair enough.
filed for the election,
So just,
filed for candidacy.
so in doing so, we would just list who has filed, not necessarily when they filed.
Correct,
And just this page updated as of.
yes.
What does the,
Okay.
oh, I can't get on internet here.
I can pull something up if you need me to.
Yeah, the Board of Elections page, or the elections page, what does it say right now? Do we have information on the deadline for filing?
For the state,
No, for the City of Frostburg election.
on the state one, no.
City of Frostburg website.
Oh, on our website, yes. So I'll
What
show
does it
you,
say now?
I'll show you our election page. I can actually show you where I would put it.
Okay.
So if we, so this is our website,
Yes.
and we do have the election front and center right here, so people can find it easily. And then right now it has the schedule, the press release we put out, and then this press release is also here. So it would just become a link under here that says candidates. We actually just list it as candidates or filed candidates, however you'd like the wording to be. And you click on it, it would just be that page there.
Okay, so a separate navigation button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, where does it identify the deadline to file?
It's part of the press release here. So right here,
Okay.
if you scroll down, notice of election. That's a notice of election. Let me actually go to the press release. Yeah, this is the fraud and all that type of thing. But how to file for office, March 20th, 2026.
Okay.
I actually think that's on the other page too, but
Yeah, it probably
But-
should be on our landing page.
I think it actually is. I just didn't see it the
Okay.
first time around.
Excuse me.
Yeah, how to file for
Oh,
office.
yeah, there it is, okay.
And then there's also supporting documents that have the
Okay.
election schedule that would have that in there as well. But yeah, so we could make it just another button under there. And we could actually, if you want to, if I pop this over to me for a second, we can put the language in the, you want an idea of what the language might be or how it might look, we could actually do some of that. But, so yeah, up to you all how you want to do that, or I do like the concept of not necessarily saying like what day they filed and things like that. I know they do that for the state, but a lot of times that's because they drop out of primaries. So it's they filed in February and in April 1st they dropped out of the race or something like that, and we don't have to deal with that type of thing. So.
All right, informal poll. Who would be in favor of adding information about filed candidates?
I would.
I think for the sake of transparency.
Okay, I will not object. I don't believe it's not sure it is into our operating procedures? Or do we just want to add it to the web page for now?
I think the latter.
Agreed.
I don't think it has to be
Right.
part of the procedures. It's more publicizing the election as opposed to the election procedures. If
Okay.
that's a distinction that has any meaning.
I'll take it. I'll accept it. All right, Patrick?
With the understanding that there would be a disclaimer that this does not, and that disclaimer could be a variety of things. I mean, the ethics committee is not
It's-
yet,
The language on
Yeah.
that page has got to be so delicate, because you can't just come out and say, this does not mean that these are the candidates, because they haven't been approved by the ethics committee yet. Automatically, that's like 5 red flags there.
because that could be misinterpreted.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a process that all candidates go through, but some may not read it that way.
Exactly.
So
But
I would not, I'm bringing that up in terms of the language, we want the language to be independent of anything related to the ethics committee. We don't want to invoke them as a reason,
right.
you know.
And not only that, they haven't technically been fully cleared because I haven't officially gone through and double checked that they're inside the city of Frostburg. And so there are plenty of other reasons they could be invalidated at this point.
This is why.
And we don't need to go into that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just need to say a filing does not indicate or does not assure at this point in time that any of these candidates will appear on the ballot or
That's
I
the
don't like
problem. I don't
something,
like that.
yeah.
That was my concern about the date of updating, as, because my standard preference for this sort of revolving information would be as of such and such a date, the following are filed for candidacy. But then, if you're gonna indicate a date, someone says, well, that's not true, because I submitted my application yesterday, why am I not on the website? That was my running concern about how often you're gonna update the page and what language we're gonna use.
So I'm just
Uh-huh.
trying to think what order we normally do them in for this.
Let's see, where's the,
Commissioner of Finance, Commissioner of Water, Parks and Rec,
where's the sign?
That's probably not right in order.
and then Public Safety, and then Public Works.
And then under each of those, using bullets would be alphabetized by last name, because that's how the ballots would be as well. Would be my thought.
Yeah.
And I can change any of the language, but this would be as,
Yeah, I don't think we need to have an as of date that precedes the statement about the following individuals have filed. We can just have that page updated, and if someone files on that day,
so perfect example, somebody files tomorrow at 3:30. I don't update the page till Monday, it'll say page updated as of, yeah, but not necessarily these are the candidates that have filed as of today.
Right.
Yeah. Or currently filed would be,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. After ballot, listed by office alphabetically, no. Listed alphabetically under office sought.
So separate sentence though, that's what I was getting at. Listed,
Alphabetically.
Or how about, do you want to say just the names are listed alphabetically? Or,
I like names instead of potential candidates or anything like that.
yeah.
Alright. I'm game.
Works for me.
Do we advertise this?
I think,
I mean, because unless somebody goes and looks for it.
we have a council meeting Tuesday that we could announce it at. We could do it.
Seems timely enough.
Yeah, it's also, where I know at least a couple of the people that are probably on this list are gonna be. If you wanted to, we could put it out on Facebook once, just as a,
That's what I was thinking. Would that be appropriate? I mean, we're talking about putting up there in the spirit of transparency.
Now, can you do that in a way that it does not invite or even permit any comments?
Yes.
I don't think so, especially not on the city page. I think
Yeah, in the city.
we pretty much leave everything open that way. We can choose to ignore them, but, like if it's, if it's that kind of comment. But, I could also, I mean, not necessarily put the list of people out, but I could put, just as a general reminder, the deadline to file is coming.
Yes.
They
Kurt-
may be found at the site.
Yeah.
Filing, something.
Candidates that have filed, can be found on the city's website. And that's normally what we do, just say city's website, we don't say
Under
where,
elections or.
not a link or
what-
something.
Yeah, yeah,
I like it.
Okay.
That'll work for me.
So I will make this live tomorrow and do a Facebook post about the deadline coming, because tomorrow will actually be 1 week away from the deadline, so a good timing of
yeah.
post and page. And I will shoot the page out to all of you so you can see it. I'll probably do the page tonight as a, just to get it up and things like that. We just won't promote it till tomorrow.
Okay, so I was just thinking. Well, we meet again on the 23rd of March.
26th.
26th?
Yeah, so we were originally looking at the 23rd, but the Ethics Commission is gonna review the candidate forms that day, so we'll meet after it to do that, and hopefully finalize the ballot. We'll finalize some paperwork.
Okay.
I do have a set to meet at 5:30. I assume that the Ethics Commission won't need the full hour and a half, but we could set our meeting for 5 if we wanted to, and it might start late.
Well,
I think 5:30. I'll be here for both of them, so it's all the same to me. So.
let's see. That 6 of one, half dozen the other, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that works for me.
Well, let's leave it at 5:30 just in case there's a
Okay.
bigger conversation, but I can't imagine.
And that's the 26th.
The 26th, Thursday, yeah.
Yeah,
And
23rd.
I'll send an invite out.
But that will be an in-person meeting as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to come to the Ethics Commission meeting, I'm sure you're welcome to do so at 4 o'clock. I'd like to see their discussion about it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not, from what I understand, it's not very intense discussions. It's just if there's anything that kind of rises to the surface as a concern.
Well, they only have 6 people.
As of right now, yes, 6.
They did their homework. I can't imagine it taking an hour and a half.
So I don't send them out ahead of time. They ask for them in the meeting.
Okay, got it.
With that said, unless anybody has anything extensive on there,
Right.
most of it is something that if there's something they need to talk about, they'll follow up on. And then the other thing too is that those forms do set a baseline for if eventually you ever find out somebody didn't put something on it, which is part of the issue as well. Like, you know, once you're a candidate, once you're done being a candidate, those types of things, so.
Okay. Questions? Additional comments? It looks like we've covered new business item A and B already as well, unless there's something else under A.
No, that was the main thing, was just making sure we were good for our, approving the candidates, so.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
No.
Alright, then, any objection to adjournment?
No.
We stand adjourned at 5:10 without objection.
That's it.
Alright, thank you everyone.